Alright guys, so here's the deal. A lot of my videos are about paintball, but I also love to play hockey. Hockey is one of my better sports. I play hockey, play baseball, play basketball, play football. Um, One thing that I hear people talking about is tape your stick like a pro. Don't try and tape your stick like a pro. Try and tape your stick like something you're comfortable with. Um, I tape my stick the same way every time, and I can tell if it's different because when I do end up taking off the tape of my stick, I don't know if you can see, but that's usually what's on the outside of my stick. That's when I take off the tape of my stick, I can just literally take the blade and just pull the tape off. So it actually ends up being when I'm done inside out. So yeah, what the stick I use right now, I use the Crazy Light CCM U Plus. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's Ovi's stick." It's not. He doesn't use this model. This is the 2009 one. He uses his own personal stick. The colors are a little bit different. I use the Tavares curve because it's not a huge curve that it's not a huge curve that if you take a wrist shot, it's going to go extremely high. Because I'm a defenseman, so I have to have a pretty flat curve. Because the flatter your curve is, the more the more surface hits the puck when you take a slap shot. But at the same time, it's a good enough curve that you won't end up like with one of the old like sticks from like 1920s where it's just perfectly flat. Um, and the way I tape my stick is I like to measure out a piece of tape. I don't really measure it because then I'd feel like a math geek. But I do like math, so I shouldn't be saying that. Um, get your piece of tape. All right, it's gonna the length of the tape is gonna differ, but usually this is about how long the tape is. Sometimes a little bit longer, it's about a foot, maybe a foot and a quarter, foot and a half long piece of tape. And what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll take one end of it, usually the end that I cut, and I'll put it on the top of the blade so that I can go around and protect the top half of the blade right here and the bottom half at the same time. So what I'll do is you see all this right here. Is I'll take my piece of tape and I'll find the point on the stick that I want to go because you're never going to have the perfect length of tape every time unless you want to measure it, which would be a little awkward because then it'd be like taping your stick is a science, which I mean it kind of is, but to take it that seriously is a little awkward. And the way I do is I line it up so that the seam, the blade, about half the tape is on one side so that I can fold it over, which will protect the bottom of my stick. And then like everybody's like, oh, but what do you do? Because there's all this leftover crap up here. Is I just take a pair of scissors and right at the corners, right here and right here, I'll cut a little line through it and fold it over. So I'll do it on the backhand side, so it's easier for you guys to see. It's a little complicated, but it works, and I mean I've been doing it for like the past couple years now, so it's like second nature. I don't have the best pair of scissors right now. I have like a pair of safety scissors. Fuck. So many random pairs of scissors in my house that I always end up getting the bad ones right. So, whatever. I'll just try to tear it. Okay. That worked pretty well, actually. So, I don't know if you can see this, but right at the corner, right here, I cut it. I mean, I actually tore it. I usually cut it to a little neater, so that it's just a little bit like it's like that. So you just have this little nose right here, and you do the same thing on the side, same thing on the opposite side of the blade, and you do the same thing on the front forehand side. And it just makes it a lot. It makes it a lot smoother tape job because I go all the way to the toe of my blade. And some people will be like, "Oh, why? It's just a waste of tape." But it may be a waste of tape to some people. But when like you have a hockey stick like the CCM, like the CCM, crazy like you. Plus, like my stick, I also have a Bauer X60. I have like a $35 Sherwood with the coffee curve, which is like the closest to a legal like hook wise that you can get, because like the Ovechkin's curve, who people think is illegal, it's on the edge because there are different rules. Like there are rules at how far the blade can curve and how far it can, when it's coming straight, how far it can tail out or tail in. His is it comes, all the bend is right in the middle of the blade. So when it comes straight and it starts to hook, and then as it gets farther out, it starts to kind of tail out like that, which is why he gets such a good wrist shot. And I don't know, one of my friends was actually was able to go like into the locker rooms during one of the All-Star games a couple years ago, before the shootout contest, during like the practice sessions. And what Ovechkin was doing is he was taking a acetylene torch and heating the blade and sticking it in a door and bending it, so that during practice he would actually be able to like when he shot the puck, it would just kind of go top right every time, or usually top right or top left. But he would aim anywhere, but his follow through is so high that it would fall through to the same place, which is pretty consistent, seeing as he has a very quick shot. So now that I'm done taping this, it's extremely flat. And very, very, very easy to tape because the Tavares curve and all the Cesium 6, they don't have the huge bend. They don't have like the huge half circle blade like a lot of the Eastons do. But I like a lot of the Eastons and the Bowers, but I still like them because they're really light. And then what I'll do is I'll go from the toe of the stick to the heel because it's a little bit neater for me. It's just really preference. So the way I start my tape job, I like to get as close to the top of the blade as I can, because I left that black spot there from doing the blade covering, and I'll leave like these two little tails here and here. They're I call them devil horns. I leave the two little horns there just to know that, okay, that's how high the top of the stick is. And I mean, I usually don't turn the stick over when I tape, because I just like to do really quickly, so that since I'm in high school and I'm hoping to play in college, which it's kind of hard for me because I'm only 5'9" and I'm a big kid. I'm a heavy kid, so I'm gonna have to grow. And I'm a freshman, so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world because I still have time to grow. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to do this like really slow so you guys can see that it's a nice tape job. I try to stay precise, but when you're trying to go really fast and you're trying to get tape on the stick so you can actually play, you can't really do it. You can't really be neat. You might just have to like go out of the ordinary, like and just kind of go like a couple times around with the tape and just kind of get back on the ice, be like, oh fuck. Or you could switch sticks, because I bring 4 sticks with me to a game. I have a really short Easton stick that actually I got rid of. I gave to one of the girls at the high school because the flex on her stick is like 60, 65 or something, or 100, I forget. And so the flex on my stick was 75, and the coach was getting pissed at her with the flex of the stick. So I was like, oh, here, have it. It's really short, so I mean, I don't care. And she's taller than me, so the fact that she fits my old stick is a little sketchy. So yeah, and I mean, it's really precise. But I'm gonna probably be putting up another video in the next couple minutes about like all the gear that I have and the reason I have it. So this is a Warrior production, and you just learn how to tape your stick like a warrior. Go out, fight hard, play hockey, learn the fundamentals, because that's what's gonna get you far. Peace.